Hey, I am back with another VW Scirocco restoration video. After taking a couple weeks off to roam around Europe, where there may or may not have been some beer involved. In fact, I may or may not have participated in a challenge to drink one beer in 5 countries in one day.
What?
Yeah, let that set in. One beer, 5 different countries, one day.
Cheers.
All I can say, mission accomplished, but that's another video.
Beer.
If you are new to the channel or found me by accident, welcome, glad to have you here. I'm just a guy with a garage and some tools trying to bring this here 1985 Volkswagen Scirocco back to life. I'm the only owner of this car, and if you'd like to hear a little bit more about the backstory, you can go all the way to the beginning of this series. If you've been to the channel before, welcome back. I sure do appreciate your support. Let's see, before we get into this video, which is putting on a brand new brake master cylinder, I'd appreciate it if you give the like button a hit. Maybe think about subscribing to let the people at YouTube know that actually somebody is watching the videos. I know, it'll probably shock them. I'll wait for you to do that. Go ahead and do that now. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. And if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video on this series, there's that little bell icon, which would be pretty cool to hit too. Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. You guys rock. As a token of my appreciation, here's a picture of a kitten. Oh, if you don't like kittens and you're more of a gearhead, here's a picture of a new water pump. All right, without further ado, here's how I changed out the brake master cylinder on a 1985 Mark II Scirocco. Hey, so it's time to do a little bit more work on the brake system. Well, I've got some more room. I want to go and turn my attention to the brake master cylinder. I have removed the coolant reservoir, which fits here into this bracket.
What that cost, about $400?
Here's the flow hose, and then right here is the brake master cylinder, which goes into the vacuum assist. So here's the brake master cylinder. This car has 2 proportioning valves, one here and one here. I don't know if that's going to be an issue or not, but I'm going to first drain some fluid out of the reservoir, put some brake-free penetrator on each of the brake lines, and see if we can at least break the lines free from the master cylinder. And if we can, then it should be as easy as pulling this bolt or this nut,
These nuts?
and the nut on the other side, and the whole master cylinder should pop right out. So again, famous last words, nothing has been easy in this car, but we'll see what we can do with swapping out this master cylinder. I do have a new one. The vacuum assist I'm not going to worry about right now. I'll clean it up a little bit once the master cylinder's off, but other than that, let's start wrenching. That was not too difficult. I was able to get all 4 brake lines off. The one down beneath the reservoir is a little difficult to get to, but they actually broke free. We got a little pan down here trying to capture any of the excess fluid. Next thing to do is to see if I can undo those bolts holding the master cylinder on, and let's see if we can pull it out.
That's what she said.
Alright, so these look like to be 13s. The nuts holding the master cylinder on, so let's see if I can break these loose. I want to be very cautious of these brake lines. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. One loose. Let's see if we can get the other one off. Again, being very cautious of the brake lines. Do not want to damage anything here. Okay, it is full of grease, but it's on. Let's see if I can get some different leverage going here. Okay, let's see. And it's broken. Okay. Now, I don't think there's anything else holding this on. I want to be very cautious when I take this out because this fluid reservoir is full. Since we bled the brakes when we put the brakes on. But this should come right out of here. Let's see. Get this nut off without losing it.
Nut.
And we've got one.
Now work on the other.
And let's see, the second one is loose as well. And the second one is off. Let's see if this comes out.
That's what she
Okay, it's loose. Coming straight out. I do want to be careful about the brake lines and the reservoir. And here it comes. All right. I don't know if you can see that. There it is. And success. All right, that was very easy. That was one of the easier things that I've done in this car so far.
Who wants Chinese takeout?
All right, the nuts cracked easily on each one of these 4 brake lines. No rounding off of those nuts whatsoever. Came out nice and clean right off of the housing. I'm gonna get that cleaned up a little bit, but very happy with that. And there it is. There's the old. See if I can get this up. This is still full of fluid. Yeah, there we go. We'll see if we can we'll see if we can empty out this reservoir, pry it off, and hopefully we don't crack it. Otherwise, I'll be looking for a new one. Excellent.
Alright, well, let's see. We've got a brake fluid reservoir, which is almost virtually impossible to find anywhere. There's a few of them on eBay that aren't the right part number, that look like they're cleaned a little bit. So this one isn't leaking. I'm going to see what I can do to try to clean it up. Now it looks like maybe there's a filter in here. I don't know if it twists out or what the deal is, but I'm going to play around with it a little bit. And then my thought is to spray some brake cleaner in here after searching on the web for a little bit. You know, there's like this sulfamic acid, which apparently doesn't seem to work at all from what I've seen for a couple of videos. I don't really care about the color of this at the moment. If I could find a new one, I'd buy a new one, but I can't find any. So I'm just going to try to clean this up and get all the gunk that's inside out. And if I can clean it up, then I'll call it a win. You can kind of see down in there, at least I can see on the back of the camera, that it looks pretty nasty.
Okay, yeah, that was gross.
So I'll play around with this for a little bit if I can figure out how to get this filter. I think this is a filter out. After the brake fluid, I'll probably put it through just some simple green and see if it cleans up. So let's do it. So it looks like there's a slot back in here, and using a pair of needle nose, you can apparently just pull this out. Alright, okay. And you can see, yeah, a little dirty. Here's a little mesh screen. And overall, pretty grimy.
Grinding over good.
But I don't see any cracks. No cracks. And again, it looks like there's a screen around here. Here's maybe a knob, which I think goes in this slot. So yeah, that's how the screen goes in and out. So that's good. So far so good. And then I don't know if you can see in there, that's pretty nasty. Hopefully, let's see, there's a baffle going in between this chamber and this chamber. There's a slot that I can spray some brake fluid and let's see what happens. Alright, we've been soaking for about an hour in just half water, half simple green. Let's see what happens. Hey, looking pretty darn good. Look at that. Still yellow, but all the crap inside is gone for the most part. Yeah. Hey. What a deal. Nice.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
Let's see what the other piece looks like. Here's the strainer. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That looks pretty darn good.
Pretty good.
All right. Hey, success. I don't have to go buy one.
Nice.
So I'm thinking that's looking pretty darn nice. Again, the master cylinder should go on nice and easy. It's just two nuts going onto the studs right there in the booster, which cleaned up really nice. The Brake lines again came out very nicely, no rounding of the nuts, and hopefully they'll go back on. I can get those tightened up. The only thing that I need to do really now is get the cleaned up brake reservoir, which is actually looking super sweet. This thing looks awesome. You know, it cleaned up really nice compared to what it looked like. It's still yellow, but that's all right. We'll get it mounted on top of the master cylinder, and we'll call this job good. All right, so let's see, this took a little, there we go. It took a little bit of WD-40 just to lubricate the reservoir enough to get off of, or through those grommets. I was super scared I was going to break off 2 of these outlets, but a little bit of lubrication and it went in just fine. And there we go. Now it's seated all the way down on top of the master cylinder.
No shit, Sherlock!
And away we go!
Is it in yet?
All right, so that's it. The only thing that's left to do is to fill this back up with brake fluid, get the cap back on, and bleed the brakes. So that's all there is to putting on a brake master cylinder on a Mark II Scirocco. The only thing that I am a little not concerned about is the proportioning valves. I've read a number of different things. We'll see if we need to reset those valves when we do the brake bleed. We'll see how that works. But we're not gonna bleed the brakes on this episode. Everybody I think knows how to bleed brakes. If not, there's plenty of videos out there for you to take a look at. But this was a pretty easy project, and here we go with the brand new master brake cylinder.